When I was a little
I
kid,
feel
like,
that there
I
are
really didn't understand the
many
importance
pros
of
and
uniform,
cons
like
with
why my mom always made me wear it. I kind of like hated it. I was like, because I was like, everybody was like wearing like sneakers and like fly
I
clothes
didn't
or
have
whatever
the
have you.
stress
My mom
of
was like,
looking
oh,
for an
wear
outfit to
uniform.
wear
One, it was
every
cheaper
day.
back.
We all had on the same skirt. We all had on a white blouse. So it was just like, oh, where you got your shoes from? I got my shoes from Payless because, it wasn't, I don't know, it was just like, I already knew what I had to wear, so my clothes was already laid out. And it was get dressed, eat breakfast, take a shower, and then go. That was the less of my problems. Right. And then I came to college, and it's just like, I don't care how I look now because I'm just going to class, to work, to home. So I love uniforms. If we had uniforms in college, that would be a blessing to me.
My experience, people find ways to use uniform, whichever confinement you put them, to be individual and find comfort in that.
You get to high school, you're more so like getting the stages of finding yourself and establishing a personality and who you are as a person. And when older people become like confined or restricted to being told what they have to wear, when they have to wear stuff like that, they tend to just like act out against it, or they don't follow it down as far as they're supposed to.
For example, in my school, when I went to Rice High School, we had a uniform, like basically a dress code, but people found ways to be self-expressive with their shoes, what they wore. People wore Gucci shoes, or like different types of like name brand stylish shoes, or different type of name brand stylish ties, their jackets they wore, and they found comfort in that. So I feel like it goes hand in hand where you can, if you're put into a situation where you have to, conform. You find ways to be comfortable in that conformality and express yourself, and that's just like human nature.
School uniform does take away from self-expression. Going to a Catholic high school, having to wear uniforms, and being limited to wearing certain types of colors with the uniform, certain type of shoes, not being able to wear certain type of earrings, and just being very restricted and limited of what I can and cannot wear.
I wore a uniform for 13 years, and I was often limited by what I can wear and what I couldn't wear due to the strict uniform policy at my school. We had a policy where girls couldn't wear skirts before November 31st, or you had to have your T-shirt tucked in, black belt, black shoes, black socks, no large earrings, no chains. And that was something that I felt limited me on how I actually did want to dress.
We used to have these things called dress down days, where students who were able to afford the uniform that we had for school were clearly not able to afford the nice clothes that some of these kids used to come to school with at any chance that they were given to dress down and wear their regular clothes. It was a way in which we could distract the kids from clothing and appearance and what people were wearing and help them focus more on school. That was the school's argument, and I think that was valid because I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I like your white shirt, everybody's wearing a white shirt, or I like your tie, everybody was wearing very similar ties. And the dress code was it was loose, but it was also very specific. Like, we had to have a white shirt, we had to have a tie, we had to have either black or khaki pants, and we had to have black shoes all the time. So like it was very linear, but people tried to do their own spin on it or whatever, just to kind of be unique. But it didn't really work. You didn't really see people's identity or kind of class standing and their struggle until it was time for like dress downs where people could wear their actual clothes.
They decided to implement like a one-day like dress down thing. It would be like Fridays you could wear jeans, but you couldn't, like, you still had to wear like your blouse or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that kind of made it a little better because people were like, yay, like we finally get to wear jeans. But people started to take that into consideration and start to like not wear the uniform at all because they eased up. So it kind of made the whole rules thing at the school like really awkward because we didn't know like who to listen to after one point, because teachers didn't care as much as the officials did, and they would be like, oh, I don't care, you can wear your uniform, I'm not going to tell on you. But then like some teachers would, so it was really like different.
There were days when we had dress down days, and that was when everyone was able to wear free dress, wear whatever they want, but they still had limits and restrictions on what we could and could not wear. So people weren't able to really express themselves how they wanted to. So Therefore, I do believe school uniforms does limit someone's form of expression.
School systems implement some school systems use uniforms to enforce structure, and the structures kind of revolved around rules that our society puts in place. So, for example, a school would be like, you have to wear uniform X amount of days during the school week, and if you do not come in with the set uniform, then there will be repercussions. And just to kind of give the idea that, there are rules in place and you have to follow the rules. So later, like, when you go to work or you're working for an establishment, or if you I don't know, join a club or something like that, you can just get in the habit of following rules that are put in place. And then it also like helps understand repercussions. Like if you don't do something you're supposed to do, then you have to deal with the cause and effect, relationship.
Literally walking in the hallways in between classes, there were like uniform attendants, and basically if you weren't wearing the uniform or you had on something in addition to the uniform that was like really outrageous, you were taken to the office and you had detention, or you had to like write a 2-page paper about uniform and rules and regulations.
It gets you used to doing things that you don't necessarily like to do, but you kind of understand that there are going to be things that you have to do that you don't like, and it's really not a big deal. It can really be as big as you make it, and it doesn't have to be something that is life or death. And then it also could possibly spark a creativity within students, because there are ways to get around things. So if you have to deal with a uniform and the uniform says you have to wear a shirt with a collar, and you have to wear a tie, and you have to wear dress shoes, you can find dress shoes that are technically dress shoes, but might not be what your teachers and the faculty in the school had in mind. Or like they wear a tie, you can wear a bow tie, you can wear a cowboy tie, you can wear I don't know how many other ties there are, but I don't know, that just provokes people to think outside the box. Sometimes it's not necessarily meant for you to think out the box, but that's how some students take it. So
even though I really like uniforms, I think they kind of do take away your individuality, but I don't think it's necessarily negative. My experience is that when I entered high school and I had to stop wearing uniform, I didn't know what to wear. And once I just started dressing with what was in my closet, and it wasn't necessarily cool. I didn't even know if it was like my style. So I took a long time to try to figure out what my style was. And the process was really awkward. Also, the transition from junior high school to high school was my awkward stage. So it was just an awkward experience. But by, I think, like 10th grade, I got the hang of it. But I would have rathered known my style. I feel like because I was in school Monday through Friday wearing uniform, I didn't really have a style.